Hey guys, today I'm going to show you how to create 3D puff embroidery in Chroma Inspire. All right, you start off with your backdrop tool, and I'm going to select this letter here. It's the letter I. I'm going to resize it on my backdrop panel to, let's say, 2.8 inches. Let's say it's for a hat, okay? 2.8, okay, we're good here. Everything's, I'm going to make it lighter here just so that I can see my stitches when I'm working in this portion here. Okay. Now, the reason why I selected the letter I is because, for obvious reasons, it's a simple character. It's just one, it's a stick basically. And I selected one that has serifs so I can show you how the end caps work. Because for 3D puff embroidery, when it's not cursive, like if it doesn't taper off, and by tapering off means, like, let's say this was like a little, this would go like this, you wouldn't need end caps because the taper handles, it can hold in the foam. But since this is cut off here, because you're going to have satin going this way, let me blow this up. You're going to have satin going this way and this way. Like these caps, this is going to be the end cap. The top of the serif on the letter is going to be the end cap for this portion of the letter. But here, since there's nothing here, you need the end caps there. So we're going to have 4 end caps here. All right, and I'm going to show you guys how to do that. And we're also going to learn about what I call, or what's called in the industry, a walking stitch, which is a clever digitizing trick to avoid trims. Because, of course, you don't want a bunch of trims when you're digitizing or embroidering, because that's a total nightmare. So I'm going to teach you that, and those walking stitches are going to double as tack down stitches for your foam, because you don't want your foam to stay in place, and so like the walking stitches, they're going to go up and down the sides in the middle here, and they will double as a tack down stitch. So let's go ahead and get started. The first stitch that we're going to do is the outline here, which is, this is supposed to be white. I made it gray so we can see it on the screen. So I'm going to go ahead and use my satin tool for this one, and I'm going to set the density at 0.35. I'm going to hit apply. Okay, we have satin selected. Now for the underlay, I'm going to deselect parallel, and I'm going to select center line. That's what I'm going to go with, and the reason why is because we're going to have a lot of stitches going left and right here, and the back portion of this. So you don't need a crazy underlay for the white part. So I'm going to start here. Now, before we start, I wanted to show you, we're not going to digitize it like this, like right on the line, right? And then of course, we're not going to do that. And we're not going to, we're going to need it to overlap under the orange part. The reason why is because if we do this right to the edge here, and then I digitize the orange portion right on the edge, when you embroider, because of the push-pull, you're going to have a massive canyon right here. And we don't want that, a huge gap. And that looks ugly, and you're going to have to test it and do that, and we want to avoid all that. So you're going to go inside about this much here. So I'm going to get my satin tool. This is supposed to be white. I'm going to select my white color. I have this set up. I have the center line set up, so let's go. I'm going to start on the outside, and then I'm going to go inside about this much. I'm going to go to the corner. I'm going to go right there. Okay, you see what we're doing here. Since this is a straight letter, we don't need to select, we don't need to hold down Command or Control on PC or Mac to do any round edges, because this is pure straight edges. But this is what we're doing here. So now that you guys, I know you guys are all computer savvy. So now that you've figured this out already, I'm going to fast forward this part of the video. Okay, now I'm going to overlap it here a little bit, like so. Over this one, I'm going to hit enter. All right, and if you're following along or you're trying to do this, it should look something like this. I know this is a little big here, That doesn't matter. Let me see. You can use your shape tool to move it in a little bit if it bothers you. If you want to be perfect, it's okay. What has to be perfect is the outside. Okay, now that we have the outline set up, I'm going to click here on the eyeball icon on my sequence panel, and that's going to hide the background, which leaves us, the space here to work with a letter, and not get distracted with any of the backgrounds. This is super handy when you're doing a very complex digitizing with like 5 or 6 colors or something like that. It helps tremendously. Okay, so now the first stitch we're going to do is going to be, we're going to start off with the tack down walking stitch. That's what I'm going to call it here because it's in a double. It's going to do double duty here. So I have this selected, standard. The length is okay. You know, you could go 4 if you want. If you want to have less stitchings in your sequence, that's fine. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start here. Well, let me explain to you before I go. What we're going to do is I'm going to start the walking stitch, the tack down stitch from here. I'm going to go all the way down, then go travel down here, and then through here, I'm going to do the first end cap here, then another walking stitch, do another end cap. Then on the way up here, I'm going to do it's going to be like a crazy looking zigzag stitch. I know it's going to look gnarly, but that's going to serve later on when we're doing the overlap of the satin. It's going to help us. It's going to help later on. So we don't have a gap here, and that also works for non 3D puff lettering too. And then I'm going to do another zigzag stitch here on the way up, then another one here because there's going to be a connection here, and we're going to do these 2 end caps, and then we're going to finish off with our Ceres, and then we're going to close off right here. So let me go ahead and get started. I'm going to start here. First, let me select my color. It's supposed to be orange. Okay, I'm going to start here. I'm going to go here. I'm going to hit enter. Okay, so we have our first walking stitch. It's looking good. Now I'm going to select my satin. Now the end caps should be the same density as your final stitches up here. So I'm going to go ahead and make my density 0 or 0.12 millimeters is a good density. And I'm going to remove the center line. I'm going to hit apply. We're good here. All right. Let me fix this. This is a little low. All right. Okay, so I'm going to start my end cap here. Let me blow it up for you. All right, we have the first one done. Let me move it around here with my select tool. Okay, we're good there. Now I'm going to do a walking stitch from here to here. Now this is where I'm going to explain to you how this works now. This is our first walking stitch from here to here, and this is a tack down stitch, but walking, what it basically means is, in order to avoid a trim, you do your walking, it'll go from here to here, and then this stitch will connect directly to this. It continues through here. Now it's going to continue. Let me select here. You see the red here? It's going to continue from there. I'm going to go across the bottom here to here. I'm going to hit enter. And now instead of having a trim here or a jump stitch over here, you're going to have a walking stitch. All right. Let me select it again. Doing our other end cap. All right, I'm going back to my run stitch tool here. Now I'm going to do the zigzag stitch I told you about that we're going to need here for later on. That's fine, it's perfect. Now I'm going up here, and I'm going to create another zigzag stitch up here because we're going to have a connection point here later on too. And on the way up here, I am going to come across. No, I'm going to stay here actually. I'm going to stay here, and I'm going to add another zigzag stitch here, like a little buffer zone safety stitch. And I'm coming here. I'm going to hit enter, and I'm going to do another end cap, my third one. So I'm going to start here, go inside a little bit, go here, hit enter. Perfect. Now, let me using my shape tool. That's how you can see your start and stop point. So we're stopping here. And remember, you can move this here if you want. You can even move it here if you want. That's always an option. But I'm going to leave it there, and I'm going to start off with my run stitch and my tack down stitch. I'm going to hit enter. Okay, now I'm going to do the final end cap, and I'm going to transition from the end cap to the top of the serif on the letter I. So let me go ahead. Actually, I should start from down. Well, it doesn't matter. I'm going to start from here. Okay. This is what we got so far. Okay, now the final stitch is here. Is here where the red dot is, and that's my stop point. So from there, I'm going to start doing my the top of my serif. So I'm going to get my I'm actually going to move this to here because I'm going to start it from here. So I'm going to start here. I'm going to go all the way. You can to zoom in. By the way, to zoom in, you use your scroll wheel. Just in case you didn't know, you don't have to go to the magnifying glass. I'm going to click here. Now I'm going to click here in this corner here. You hold down shift, it helps keep your line straight. I'm going to click here. Now, instead of just going straight across, again, to further improve the connection between these two stitches that we're going to have here later on, the ones going this way and the ones going this way crisscross, I'm going to create like a little fold here, or like a little, kind of like a little gap here. Think of it as like the top of a Lego brick. You know, that's what holds itself to the other bricks. This is kind of what this is too. So I'm going up here. This is something I started doing, and it works very well for me because I kept on having issues with the stitches splitting up whenever in this portion here of lettering. Okay, so I'm going to go here now across. I'm going one more. I'm going to hit enter. All right, see, it should look like this. Now, our final stitch is here, right? So I am going to create another walking stitch. I know some people say you could just start embroidering here and you will get a jump stitch that will get covered up, but that's kind of sloppy. You don't want that, you know, so, you know, because it could cause trouble later on. It could pop out or get stuck. So I'm going to do a walking stitch to here. I'm switching back to my satin tool, and I'm going to do this side here. Going further down a little bit, right about here. It doesn't have to be perfect. Now I'm going to go forward here, and I'm going to meet up right here. I'm going to hit enter, and it should look something like this. If you get this right here, that's fine. You can just move it down a little bit. I mean, that's really small. You might not even notice or see that. Move it up a little bit. Hit enter. Beautiful. Okay. Now the final stitch is here. So I'm going to do another walking stitch because I'm going to start to go down now. So I'm going to start my walking stitch. I could go over this. It doesn't matter. I'm going to hit enter. There it is. Now I'm going to select my satin tool. Now we're going across. Now this is the easy part. You can zoom out if you want. I'm going to hold down shift. So you see how holding down shift kind of like snaps it to being straight. Add my point there. I'm holding it down again. I'm gonna hit enter. All right, it should look like this. Now we're gonna go down here and we're gonna do the same thing we just did here pretty much. Now, you are computer savvy. I know you guys all are. You could just copy and paste this down here and you'll be fine. But I want you guys to master doing this technique, to avoid doing, because this also works for regular embroidery as far as for letters or logos. You remember, you always want to avoid having trims. You are going to always want a smooth embroidery. So I'm going to go ahead and do another walking stitch down here like this. I'm going to go start here, hit enter. I know this looks super sloppy, but trust me, it serves a purpose. And your embroidery, most of the time, will come out perfect on your first try. Okay, I'm clicking here now. Same thing we just did. Clicking here. Here. I'm going inside here a little bit. Again, I'm doing the top of the Lego brick. I can't find the word for this. If you guys come up with a clever word for what this little wedge thing is, write down in the comments and we'll call it that moving forward. Oh, that didn't come out too straight. Let me try again. The wedge. Okay. I'm going to go here now. All right, that looks beautiful. Now I'm going to do another walking stitch. This is my last stitch, so here we go again. I'm gonna hit enter. I'm going to zoom in so that I can see the character better. Beautiful. Now we have our final stitch here. Again, this will be your last walking stitch, I promise. It's gonna go here. It doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to do the walking stitch. I'm sure many people tell you don't need it. This is a very small area. You could probably, just again, if you're comfortable with it, you could just leave a jump stitch to go from here to here. I don't like doing that. This is cleaner. I'm gonna hit enter. I'll tell you a secret. You don't even have to hit enter. You could just select your satin tool and you'll be good. Okay, selecting here. Here. Now we're gonna meet up here. Beautiful. Your 3D puff should look something like this. Let me go ahead and turn this on so we can see the whole. Now this works with every letter in the alphabet the same way, it's even easier with fonts where letters that don't have serifs. Let's do a quick playback. Okay, we have our white background. Looks nice. Now we're starting in the sequencing here. You can see better like what we're trying to do to avoid the trim. So look, that's our first walking stitch. That's our first end cap. The other walking stitch, the other end cap. That's the safety stitch. That's what I've heard some other YouTubers call it, or the safety stitch, or the buffer. I call it the buffer zone. I don't know. Again, if you come up with a better name, write it down in the comments. Here's another buffer zone safety stitch, the third end cap. Here we go. Here's the other end cap. That's the little slot thing that I created. There we go. Perfect. Beautiful. I hope you guys learned something. If you enjoyed the video or if you didn't like it, leave a comment. And please, whenever you get a chance, visit chromaembroidery.com.